Welcome back to the next video. In today's video we will see how to create an Android plugin to display app shortcuts for your Godot Game Engine app. So firstly I will show you the demo. So here I have my Godot app, and if you see over here I have this shortcut already added, but what I'll do, I'll just call this remove dynamic, because I had added this shortcut at the time of debugging. So by default there will be no shortcuts. So if you see over here there are no shortcuts. Okay, now if I click on my app and also have a look at the text, now the text is called hello world. I will click on this add dynamic, so this will add some shortcut to my app. Okay, and here you can see I have added one shortcut called like coding with nobody, and if I click on it the label will change to dynamic, because I am sending a callback from my native Android side to the Godot side, saying that the shortcut was clicked. There is also something called static shortcuts, but I was facing a lot of issue for static shortcuts, and unfortunately I even tried asking it over here, but the issue was closed. That's why I didn't bother. But if you are curious and if you know how to create static shortcut, like I have figured it out for native Android, React Native and Flutter. The problem is with how Godot is structured. That's why I'm facing a lot of issues. So if you are curious you can have a look at this issue, and if you let me know if you have figured it out. But I think dynamic shortcuts are fine, because if you have used something like WhatsApp, they have dynamic shortcuts. So if you're chatting to one user continuously, then the shortcut to that user is automatically added. So you can add something like this using this technique. So yeah, let's get started. So firstly what you'll have to do is you will have to create an Android project, and it can be an empty views project or a Jetpack Compose project, doesn't really matter. Then you will have to create a library, and to create that you can just right click, new, module, select Android library. Here give it some name and give it some package name. I have already given it a name as my library, so I'll just cancel this. Next you will have to add two drawables for your app shortcuts. So I have added some XML like SVG files, but it can be PNG, JPEG, whatever makes sense to you. Add those drawable icons over here. So yeah, you can create an inside my library you can create an RES folder. Inside that create drawable, and you can add one icon, whatever makes sense to you. These values and XML you can ignore, like this I was trying to do it for static shortcuts, but unfortunately couldn't figure it out. Next you will have to come to build.gradle file. So I'll just go to this Android drop down. So build.gradle file of my library, you will have to add this Godot engine Godot 4.2.1 stable, and just click on sync now. Next you will have to go to your package name over here and create a file called Godot Android plugin, and here firstly you will have to extend Godot plugin. Here inside get plugin name you can give any plugin name, whatever makes sense to you, but remember this name because we will be using it in lot other places as well. Next I have overridden this get plugin signals, because we want to emit some data from native Android side to Godot side once the shortcut has been clicked. And on Godot setup completed, I am calling this handle intent, as well as on main resume I am calling this handle intent. So what happens is that suppose the user has completely closed the app, and if he long press on the app icon and clicks on your shortcut, then this method is called. But if the app is in background and if he tries to click on the app icon and then presses the shortcut, then this is called. This is not called. That's why I'm calling it at both places. Next I have created this add dynamic shortcut, and here you can see we have to use this shortcut info compat.builder, pass the application context over here, give it some shortcut ID. So my shortcut ID is just dynamic, but you can give whatever makes sense to you. Set a short label, set a long label, and set some icon to it. Next you have to set an intent as well, and here we are using explicit intent. So we are referencing to the main activity, setting the package name as activity.package name and adding a category as well. And I'm here you can put some data. So this is key value pair, shortcut underscore ID is key, value is dynamic, but here again you can put whatever makes sense to you. And here we are just calling push dynamic shortcut and passing the application context over here, shortcut over here. Next, for removing the dynamic shortcut, you have to pass the shortcut id. So this is our shortcut id, okay, and here we are just calling remove dynamic shortcuts, and here you can pass a list of dynamic shortcuts as well. And here you can handle the intent, like once the user click on the shortcut. So here I'm checking, so this is our key, right? So if you remember, this was our key. Now here I'm checking what the value is. So this is the dynamic value, so this signal will be sent. For static, again, like I told you earlier, I was not able to figure it out. There is something called pinned shortcuts as well. If you are interested, do let me know. I have never seen any users using it, but yeah. And if nothing matches, I'm just sending an hello world signal. Okay, let's see what's next. So here I have just written all the cheat sheet from the Godot documentation. So you will have to go to android manifest.xml. Here you will have to add this application tag, and this should be your package name, followed by, so this is your package name of your library, followed by the class name Godot Android plugin, and this should be your plugin name, which we have defined it over here. Okay, and here again, this is for static shortcut, so you can ignore this. You only need this bit of code over here. Next, we have to, okay, so here you will have to go to Android, go to project, and inside my library you will have to create a folder called export scripts template. In that, create two files, export plugin.gd and plugin.cfg. In export plugin.gd, I have just copy pasted it from the Godot docs, but important thing is this should be your plugin name, and also you have to add this bit of get android dependency, because we need this dependency for shortcut info compat. So if you see inside build.gradle of your library, this dependency is already present when we create a library, right? But the Godot Android template does not have it, so we have to explicitly add this dependency as well. So I have added this bit of dependency. Rest everything I have copied from the docs. Next, you have to create a plugin.cfg file. Again, this has been copied from docs. This should be your plugin name. Change the description and author to whatever you like. So this is done. Next, you will have to open your terminal, cd to your Android project and not to your library, and you will have to run this command. So once you run this command, this will generate two files, two AAR files. So to see those files, you can go to your library, go to build, outputs, AAR, and here you should see two files. Like I have already copied those files to my Godot project, that's why you are not seeing it. Okay, once those two files are generated, you can click create your Godot project. Okay, next you will have to create a folder called add-ons. So here you can see I have created a folder called add-ons. Inside that, create a folder with your plugin name, then create a folder called bin, and next create two folders, debug and release. Now you have to copy those AR files, the debug AR file to the debug folder, release AR file to the release folder. So if I show you my Godot project, I'll go to add-ons, my plugins, bin, debug. So here you can see this is the debug AR file, but you again have to change the name to whatever is your plugin name dash debug.ar. Similarly for release, your plugin name dash release.ar. Then you have to create two files, export plugin.gd and plugin.cfg. So to create those two files, you can literally copy paste it what we had created inside the Android project. So I have just copy paste those two files, but it should be inside your plugin folder but outside the bin folder. Okay, so as you can see over here, so here you can see. Next, you will have to go to project, install Android build template. I have already installed it. Next, click on export, click add Android. I have already added it. At the bottom you might be seeing a button called fix import. Just click on it. Also, if so currently I am not using static shortcut, right? But if in future, if you have figured out static shortcut, make sure you update the mean HDK version to 25. Also in library you have to change the mean HDK version to 20. For dynamic shortcut you can keep it as 24, which is in our case, but I was trying out static shortcut, that's why I updated to 25. Next, you have to update the target HDK to 34 at least, because of the KTX core library which we are using for shortcut, that is targeting 34. 33 won't do. At the time of this recording, Godot still targets 33. hopefully they update it to 34 in the future, but currently we can manually change it to 34 as well. And inside, because here you can see I'm getting this warning, and here you can check the architecture of Android which you are running, whatever makes sense to. If you don't know, check all the 4 architectures. Next, you will have to go to your Android folder of Godot project, go to build, and here you will have to open config.gradle, so this file, and here also you will have to update this to 34. Keep mean to 24 or 25. If you are using static shortcuts, if you have figured it out, then you can use 25. Target HDK also 34, and build tools also 34.0.0. Next, go to project settings, go to plugins, and here you will have to check this, okay, your plugin name. Next, here inside project I have just created a VBox container with 2 buttons and a label, and if you see over here, this again should be your plugin name. Inside onReady function, we are initializing our plugin and also connecting a signal as well. And on button pressed, first button press I am calling add dynamic shortcut, second button press I am removing it, and here once we get a signal I am just updating our label. I think that should be it. Let me see if I have forgot any steps. Also, if you are doing it for the first time, you also have to set your debug key, so you can go to editor settings, add debug key as well as HDK path. For Mac OS, the debug key is on this path. Sorry, I'm not sure about Windows. And also, if you want to do Wi-Fi remote debugging, you can check that option as well inside editor settings. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.